Well, hey, it's Marcus, and welcome to Zooming in the Jungle Room. I'm very, very lucky today because Zooming with me all the way, I say all the way from Las Vegas, but he's actually in Adelaide now, but he came from Las Vegas. It is the amazing magician, Paul Dabek. Paul, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Welcome back to Adelaide.
I know. I love the fact that we're about as close as we always ever are because I'm always on the other side of the world and we're zooming.
I
You could be just in the building next door.
I was just going to say, so I live in an apartment complex. You're probably literally right behind that wall over there. But I'm like, Paul, can you hear me?
I know. Well, the connection seems pretty good for this, so
I
we'll
know,
we'll
right?
we'll keep rolling.
Well, clearly we're not on Adelaide Free. That Wi-Fi, I don't know why that even exists. Like, kill it already.
I
Hey,
know.
Paul,
Just
why do you love coming back to Adelaide Fringe? Because you're a staple at this. I mean, I first interviewed you in about 2016, I reckon, at the Hotel Richmond in Rugby Hall, which was an amazing. And you know what? When I
That's right.
I'm going to actually post our original interview as well underneath. I know, right? We both had different haircuts.
Oh God.
I know, like major. But and you know what? Technology was not even as high res as what we've got now. It's
If
really
If
weird.
I can remember rightly, you probably just haven't cut your hair since then because you had very tight blonde cropped hair. So
I did.
it's taken this long just to grow just to grow this wonderful mane that you have now.
Can I be honest, Paul? My hair is about as natural now as it was back then. Don't worry.
Don't ruin the magic. Don't ruin the magic.
Dolly Parton never
I
ruins.
don't want I don't want to
Why
know the
should I?
secrets.
Hey, Paul.
Exactly.
So why do you love coming back to the Adelaide Fringe? 2024. How long have you been doing it for? Tell me everything.
I mean, I started coming out. I did Edinburgh for a few years, and I just love Fringe. I think I was mid-20s when I sort of started doing uh, Fringe festivals. And the first year I went to Edinburgh, I suddenly went, "Oh my goodness, I've been wasting my life up until this point." I was only like 25, maybe, because it's just, I mean, just being around that many artists, the vibe that encapsulates a city. And so I was already doing Edinburgh, and then I was like, I should try this, but with some sun. And so my friends, said, "Oh, you should come out to Adelaide Fringe Festival. It's great." So I came out, and it was a very different beast to Edinburgh, but it was just incredible. And I think also, Adelaide. Lots of people do know how lucky they are to have it, but lots of people, understandably, when you grow up with something on your doorstep, you just assume it's a thing everywhere, or and so people don't realize that it's the second largest in the world, and so you just have this. It's like a nirvana as a performer. You just turn up and there's art and theatre and comedy and music everywhere, and the city comes alive. And I'm sure everyone here knows that, but it's just magical. I love it. I love it. It's just such a great vibe. And Fringe Time. I think Fringe Time brings a little craziness, but I also think it brings a little empathy and a little calming sort of balm to a city too. I always say this in Edinburgh. You see all the artists turn up, and you're there for a month, and I don't really see any trouble. I don't really see any fighting in the street, all the usual stuff that happens when there's a lot of alcohol around or whatever else. It's like, because we're all too busy worrying about ourselves and our reviews and our publicity to worry about fighting or all that sort of stuff. I think when I say freaks, I mean it in the most endearing sense of the word. But when us freaks turn up to the town, I think it just opens people's minds, and it I think it's just great. We need it in the world.
Yeah.
So I just love being out here. And obviously, the weather, again, easily taken for granted, but it's just a great time and a great city. And it's such a different festival to Edinburgh. And yet they're both Fringe festivals, and a lot of the same crossover of performers and things that debut here that end up going to Edinburgh and vice versa. But it's just a great time of the year. It's coming out of Christmas and the new year, and back in Europe that can feel very so depressing and grey, and everybody's waiting for the spring. So jump on a plane and get out here and do some
I know.
shows.
I
It's
mean, Paul, like
medicine
seriously,
for the soul.
I'm overlooking the city at the minute. How good is today's weather? We have got like this
I
magic
know.
weather.
It's just beautiful. It's just amazing.
I think I said
And
to you today, when we were on 5AA. So for everyone watching, we had the lovely Paul Dabek and also Sarah McLeod from Super Jesus on air yesterday. And I said to them at the time that if you want to have really, really good weather, you put on the Adelaide Fringe. If you want crap, shit weather, oops, I swore, too late. I've got no bleep button. If you want really terrible weather, you put on the Adelaide Christmas pageant. But you know what? Adelaide has turned on this 2024 Adelaide Fringe. It's bloody amazing out there.
it really is. There's a great vibe this weekend. We opened the parks and the venues all seem super busy. Everyone seemed really up for it, really ready for Fringe. It's amazing. It's crazy because we're doing this on our day off. Monday is the first day off, and everybody thinks, well, we've only done 3 days of shows, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But you know what? That week or 10 days leading up to, you can hear my voice is a little bit delicate today.
Paul,
But yeah, those weeks leading up to it are crazy.
I saw 3 shows Thursday, 4 shows Friday, 4 shows Saturday, 4 shows yesterday. Today, I'm like flatline.
Yeah. Well, and that is the only drawback of the heat and the beautiful weather is, you do end up being a little moist, shall we say, in some outdoor venues and indoor venues. But it's come a long way, actually, since I mean, that's what's been so cool is watching. I started coming to the Adelaide Fringe. My first few years was at Gluttony, and then I did a few years with the German club when that first started, and then I was at Fool's Paradise and Gluttony. I bounced between a few different venues, tried different things, but Gluttony in particular, watching that grow has been amazing. Because when I came the first year, I was in a little 100-seater tent with a pole in the middle of the stage. I had to look around like this. And I think they had a couple of other marquees and mainly food vendors and things. And then year on year, they've just sort of grown and grown and grown and sort of become the larger venues now. And it's also cool because it really feels like those two sites actually do offer some similarities, but they do really offer different things too. And that feels really cool for the city.
Yeah, and you know what, Paul? I mean, essentially, yes, there's those 2 sites, Garden and Gluttony, but it's just one great big space because obviously, that little Rundle Street area that divide the 2 spaces becomes, especially on the Friday and Saturday and the Sunday, closes off and becomes one great big space. And you know what?
Yeah, that's great.
Just go and see a show. I don't care where it is.
Well, that's it. And I mean, what's been really cool as well these last couple of years is watching it spread. It's always been across the city. And then you've got, obviously, the Holden Street theatres and things like that. But it's kind of feels like it's bridged and spread through the city as well. Now that the Wonderland is at Hindmarsh Square and Fool's Paradise has opened up Victoria Square. And it feels like it's kind of these rather than just one large hub being out somewhere else. It feels like these sort of mid-sized, cool, quirky hubs, and I think that's good for everyone. I think that makes the city feel more alive for everyone, rather than Fringe being a thing that happens down one end of the city.
Now, Paul, this is all very lovely to promote Adelaide and how amazing Adelaide is and how incredible Adelaide Fringe is. Rah, rah, rah. But hey, let's talk about you. And let's talk about your show. So, Las Vegas, how's all that going?
Las Vegas is great. I actually just bought a house there.
Oh, wow.
So I've been out there. Yeah, I moved out to the States. I was in Los Angeles for 2 years, and then I've been in Las Vegas for about 3 and nearly 4. And then nearly 2 years ago, I was part of the opening cast of a show called Mad Apple. which is one of the latest Cirque du Soleil creations. And it's quite different to the normal Cirque du Soleil, I wouldn't say model, but some of the more avant-garde shows that they have, in that this is a kind of balls to the wall variety show. So it's in the New York Hotel and Casino, which is where Zumanity was, which is one of the sort of naughtier Cirque du Soleil shows. But this is the first Cirque du Soleil show to have stand-up comedians and variety acts that speak and be a little bit less in the ethereal world and a bit more rooted in a vibe and a aesthetic that's a bit more human. So it's themed around New York City. It's my friends and colleagues from The Illusionists, the creators of The Illusionists, who merged with Cirque du Soleil, and they created this new show. And it's just wild. It's a lot of fun. I actually play the general manager of this club that you come into, Mad Apple, and the bar has this incredible descending. I should stop doing this because this is like magic. My arm keeps disappearing, but I talk with my hands. So the bar descends from the roof and turns the bar into the stage, and it's amazing. But I actually play a character called Nikki. I'm the general manager of the establishment. So I don't actually talk like an Englishman over there. You know what I mean? So, and so it's very useful because sometimes when I'm having to deal with, contracts and things for myself, I just use this voice and then people don't fuck around with me. You know what I mean?
So, I mean, obviously, when you're in Vegas, it's like 24/7, you're on and you're always on. What happens when you come to the Adelaide?
10 shows a week.
Yeah, right, I know. So when you come to Adelaide, what happens to your character over there?
So, it's been an amazing journey. I joined the cast and created a character for it. And then I actually left after the 3 months of creation. I worked on the show, did about 100 performances. And then I went back on the road with the Illusionists. And then I got a call asking if I would come back to the show. And so I came back after I'd finished that tour. And then we ended up licensing part of my act and the character to Cirque. So I have a cover. So I have a cover performing my creation in the show whilst I'm here. So it's a pretty amazing situation I'm in at the moment, in that I am in the show in Vegas when I'm available, and they allow me to sort of take time off to come and do other projects, which is kind of great because it's more likely to keep me there for longer if they want me there, because I need the variety. So I'm loving the fact that this is the second year I've done this. I've left, come over and worked on my own show and my own project, and then been able to go back, having done that, refreshed and ready for new challenges. So it's I'm very, very lucky to be able to do that.
Do you feel like, because you've been coming to Adelaide for so many years now, do you feel like coming to Adelaide is almost like your second or third home, because so many people here?
1,000,000%.
So many people.
1,000,000%. It's awesome because it's a sport. It feels like a small town, really, sometimes, especially with Fringe, of course, and there's loads of Adelaide that I really don't know because nearly always our time here is just spent around putting up the shows, being around the main areas, and also from my point of view, I've nearly always self-produced. So, it's not just going and doing the show in the evening, it's marketing and interviews and chats and producing and all that other stuff. So I don't get to see it as often or as much as I would love to of Adelaide, but I definitely feel very much at home here for sure. And I've had some incredible people that have helped me along the way, yourself and Belinda at BPR and a bunch of other people that have always been like real cheerleaders and flag wavers and helped me and gone above and beyond. So I always appreciate that, and that's why it feels like coming home, because you've got people in your corner.
But you know what? That's a testament to you, Paul, not so much the people you deal with. It's the fact that you're such an engaging human being that works from the soul, works from the heart. And, you're a good human. You do great stuff. And your show is impeccable and to an incredible high standard. Now, I've just had my 10-minute warning because can I tell you something true? I've only got the basic version of Zoom, which gives me 40 minutes of interview, and we've been going for 30 minutes already. I don't even know, because you and I don't even like to talk and engage. Weird. I know.
Yeah, well, I didn't think we would get into much. I was worrying. I was thinking about putting some conversation cards out just in case we ran out of things to talk about.
Well, I was going to start talking about sports. It's like, and cars and girls.
Oh, Clipsal. Thank goodness that's gone.
I know, right?
Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
Do they know us? Hey, so now I don't know if you're standing in the bus station at the moment, down on North Terrace, because I mean, I'm loving the billboard behind you. Paul Dabek in Gluttony program. Let's talk about, because we haven't even spoken about the show yet. Oh my God, we're practically everything that we're going to have for dinner, but your show. So it's the Gluttony program. It's on page 11. You'll find Paul right there. Bang, 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 bang. London.
Yay!
You look behind Paul right now. London's greatest cabaret. It's called London Calling. Paul, can we please talk about the show? Tell me who's in it. What can we expect? And when is it on?
Well, yes, absolutely. So London Calling is my little love letter to London as a city. So it's not all British cast. It's a love letter to a city that is a lot of things, and you can see the iconic telephone box. A lot of things you think of about London, and some of the things you don't think of so much, because it's a melting pot, and it's really more about a celebration of a place where people come from all around the world to live and work and create, and so it's a fun thread that pulls what is essentially a variety show with literally some of the greatest variety acts that I've ever worked with from all over the world, and so it's a great sort of tied together package of these incredible acts that I've worked with in and outside of London, and some of the great music that's come out of that city, and some of the great iconography, and it's very funny, it's very silly, and a little bit of theatrics too. We take you on a little journey. When you arrive into a London tube station, and the show kind of explodes from there, and you meet all these amazing variety performers. Charlie Caper, who of course is a staple here at the Fringe. Charlie cut his teeth in Covent Garden in London, the home of street performance. Antia Poda, who is just the most incredible foot juggler, who absolutely took the festival by storm last year. And she juggles a whole manner of luggage and suitcases. I worked with Antia in London when I was 22 years old. I'd never forgotten the act. And all these years later, I managed to persuade her to come out and be in the show. We take you up in the airs on a British Airways, or maybe we'll call it Britain Airways, so we don't get into any copyright issues. Flight, where you meet Chelsea Angel, who takes you through a swinging 60s hula hoop number. And there's lots more surprises in there as well. So yeah, it's really, I would say, it's genuinely, and I can say this because I'm not really in the show as much as I am usually. I'm just the guy that's conned everyone into coming and performing in it. I would say it's one of the greatest builds of talent at this festival, without doubt. And so much so, we're very lucky, completely by surprise, we won Pick of the Fringe last year out of like 1,400 shows. So that's why we're back.
And so get amongst it,
there you go.
You guys that are watching, get your tickets, because London Calling
6:45 every night,
and it runs until the 17th of March, which is the very, very last day in Gluttony. I can't remember the name of the venue though, because it doesn't actually say it on the advert. What's the venue?
We're in the Peacock, which is a beautiful big tent set up like theatre end on. And the big thing about the show, I would say, is that although it's not a kids show or a family show, it's completely family friendly. So it doesn't matter, like a great Cirque du Soleil show or a musical, it doesn't matter if you're going to bring kids, or you could bring a date or your grandparents, or all three, or you could come on your own. You'd have a great time. Nobody will feel that the show is too adult or too childlike. We've made a real conscious effort to have a show that everybody can enjoy, wherever you're from, whatever your walk of life. So that's the great thing about variety.
Well, I'm going to come along. Can you come as my date?
I have to do a little bit of work. I'll try and swing into the audience if you leave a seat for me.
Yeah. I'll be this. Yeah, I get it. Hey,
always the problem, Marcus. Always the problem for a host like me or any performer when you come to a show. We all end up getting upstaged by you, even when you're sat in the audience. We know you're in. I don't know what it is. It must be your energy.
Hey, Paul.
It's never on purpose.
Hey, please tell me if there was somebody, because we've literally got my 4-minute warning right now before we get cut off. Can you please tell me if there was anybody in the world that you could collaborate with, alive or dead, who would it be on the show?
Oh, wow. That's a really tough one. I mean, honestly and truthfully, because I'm in that world, the variety world, like I feel like I'm very lucky that I've collaborated with some amazing people, like in the top of that game. But I mean, I think gosh, do you know who I absolutely love? Is Michael Caine. Michael Caine. And I met him. I did a TV show with him and Michael Palin, and I just loved the Prestige film that was the magic film that they did. I think probably, yeah, absolutely. Hugh Jackman's a beast. I love an all-round entertainer. Hugh Jackman would be a great one to collaborate with because he's got it all. He can do it all.
I wouldn't mind collaborating with Hugh Jackman, but maybe not on stage. Shut up.
I'm sure you'd have. I'm sure you guys could workshop something out.
Well, you know what? It's very much leading this way, considering his divorce just recently. The opportunity is there. Paul, we are literally about to cut off.
You've got to slide in. You've got to swoop in. You've got to swoop in for Hugh.
We've literally got a minute and a half. Paul, I just want to say, London Calling is on until the 17th of March as part of Adelaide Fringe in Gluttony, like Paul said, at the Flamingo. Is that what you said?
Peacock. We're at the Peacock.
It's still a bird, Paul. It's still a bird.
I know. You should, but I'll be peacocking my outfits, but not as well as you, for sure.
Paul, you're amazing. I love having you back in Adelaide. It is always so nice catching up with you. You're my darling friend of many, many years. You're a joy. You're a talent. You're everything I could ever need from a Las Vegas resident. Peace, joy, and all the best for an amazing 2024 Adelaide Fringe, Paul.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. It's always so lovely to see you, Marcus. You've got a couch anytime you need it in Vegas.
Oh, my God, please. I'll see you soon. And get your tickets, everybody.